Thưa quý vị, bộ phim Lửa Phật, bộ phim hành động giả tưởng đầu tiên của Việt Nam do công ty BHD sản xuất đã công chiếu vào ngày 22 tháng 8 năm 2013. Và đặc biệt là trong bộ phim này có sự xuất hiện của Yuan. Anh là diễn viên hành động của Hollywood. Anh đã từng xuất hiện trong một số bộ phim như là Shanghai Noon, bên cạnh ngôi sao Thành Long, hay là loạt phim về người dơi Batman Begins. Anh đồng thời cũng là đạo diễn hành động của nhiều bộ phim nổi tiếng khác. Và nhân chuyến đến Việt Nam để tham gia bộ phim này thì tôi đã có dịp trò chuyện với anh xung quanh quá trình tham gia bộ phim Lửa Phật, những trải nghiệm của anh về bộ phim này cũng như là góc nhìn của anh về điện ảnh Việt Nam. Mời quý vị cùng theo dõi sau đây. I know you've been a long-time friend with Dustin, and that's, one of the reasons that he brought you into the movie. But I mean, how did he convince you to join the team? I mean, it's the first time we have so much pleasure to have a Hollywood actor joining a Vietnamese movie.
Well, thank you. Actually, Dustin and I have been friends for a long, long time, and we have a very close friendship. We used to train together as well. The script I had read probably about 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that his dream, right, for a long time.
It's been, he's been trying to nurture this film to its fruition for quite a while. And when I first read the script, I always felt that it was a really good story. And so it's the combination of Dustin being a very good friend of mine, and also me knowing that script is a very strong, character-driven story with elements of martial arts, with elements of fantasy, and some humor. So it was not that difficult a decision for me to make, especially being friends with Dustin.
Could you tell us more about your characters in Monk on Fire? Long.
Long is the villain of the film, but he's not all that he seems. That's as much as I can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I know that you have to speak Vietnamese in order to, play that role, right?
Yeah.
How tough is it?
That was really difficult. I mean,
How did you learn it?
Dustin would record, and then I would, after working the day, I would go home to the hotel and listen to the recordings and try to
learn by heart.
Try to learn by heart. I mean, Vietnamese is a very, very difficult language. I'd say more difficult than Chinese, more difficult than many. I had to do Hindi for Chinese Chalk to China. I've had to do another film with Chow Yun Fat, where I had to do Tibetan. And Vietnamese is the hardest because it's the 6 tones, and then the similarity in dropping like consonants like French.
Okay.
So it's a very subtle language.
So Dustin is the one who showed you how to speak, and
so you guys can blame Dustin.
So how is the experience working in the film with crews from different backgrounds and different cultures backgrounds like Monk on Fire?
It's like having a cup of coffee if you've never drank coffee before. It can be intense and it can be very good, and there's also times where it can be very confusing. But it's different cultures. And for me personally, I found it to be working in this environment over here in Vietnam. I have to say, for the most part, I've enjoyed it immensely. And it's to do with the people. I think it's to do with the willingness to learn, the willingness to improve, and the willingness to actually just to work hard and try to do their best. And then with Dustin, being also from Los Angeles, and also our DP, which we had a good camaraderie. We also had a good team, understanding, and hopefully too the Vietnamese crew that we worked with, that they put up with us, that they have had as good an experience, and maybe we've learned from each other.
What do you think that Dustin manages the job of being a director with the the crews that have different kind of backgrounds and different experience like that? Because I know the DOP from Thailand, the cameraman from America, from the state, and you from the state, and Dustin and Vietnamese Americans, and some of the actors is from Vietnam. So how does he manage the job? Because a lot of different views like that.
I'd say he did a great job. I think Dustin, because he wears so many hats in this particular film. Like he's the writer as well as actor, as well as director and producer. So there's a lot that he took on, and you know, it was probably quite overwhelming. I'll let him speak for himself about it, but I think he did a fantastic job in handling every scenario and pretty much staying calm. And from my own personal experience, in working with him as an actor, he's very good at directing actors because he's also an actor himself. From the action standpoint, another thing that, you know, one of the benefits, I guess, for him to have me here was I was kind of an action consultant for the film, and I would give my ideas and how we would shape our fight. And he took it on board, and it was very, very, you know, he's very open to new ideas. And I think that comes to be from a person that has the strength of character to know, you know, what is best for the project, what is best for story, you know, and he was very much.
I know this is your first time, you know, shooting a movie in Vietnam. I bet there's a lot of things that you never expect is going to happen.
Right.
So tell me some of the first impression about, you know, the setting, the shooting, the costume, the way that we work here, that how the film crew is setting right now in Vietnam. Tell me about your first impression and how do you adapt to it?
You know, the first impression, and I've been asked this a lot, was that yes, it's very, the film industry here is new, and it's not obviously not as advanced. Like, okay, one of the things that we had that was a little bit problematic, the weapons that we used.
Okay, how about it?
The swords were quite heavy and unbalanced, a little bit top heavy, but they were beautiful. They were beautifully manufactured. Right. They had a great look. It's the only thing is that the materials, the lightness of, let's say, an airplane aluminum is not possibly readily available here. Whereas, you know, armorers back in the States or in the UK, they would manufacture and also be able to manufacture hard rubber.
So that's lighter.
Duplicates. Yeah, that's lighter and safer.
So look at almost 2 months doing Monk on Fire. What was your unforgettable memory?
Okay. The last time that we you know, one of the days that we shot, Dustin told me that we were filming in Monet, and basically in one day we had sun, the rain,
everything is
all
good,
at once,
good for
and we had to wait and figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Do we wait this out because it'll turn sunny again, but we're on a tight schedule, or do we just go ahead and shoot this with rain? And because there was potential that the climate was going to be 3 days of storms, or 3 days of rain.
You wonder what happened, right?
So the thing that we talked about was right then and there we decided to change that possibly. Oh, okay. Well, let's make the story that you know, when this particular sequence happens, the energy of all the characters, the characters changes the climate. So we had to shoot a couple of sequences where it was full-on rain, and then it turned to sun, and it was a day that was actually very, very kind of emotionally distressful for everyone, especially with the actors and Dustin as well, because you know, this is something that you're not planned for. This is nature, you know.
It just happened, man.
Yeah, it just happens.
The weather.
But as it turns out, it works out. It actually works out, I think, for the film.